All right, fans of the Pittsburgh Piledriver podcast, we got a lot of stuff coming up here today. We're going to try to get to it all. It's a big week of loss, unfortunately. Poot's losing his damn mind. Beef's probably going to lose a limb from all the awesome food that he had here at my place at SummerSlam. I've lost my clothes for this podcast, and our dear friend Ransom has lost both mobility and his title. We'll cover all of it. Stay tuned.
You're listening to the Pittsburgh Piledriver.
What the hell is that?
Podcast.
Well, Thursday night is upon us, and this is not the sultry voice of the Mad King, Mr. Alec Ransom, that you're used to. Oh, no, he's out with injury after his last title defense here, defending the Cruiserweight Championship. This is Tiger Bomb Tom, and tonight we've got Mr. Poot the Bard, the Barbarian House. Yes. Bay, the Barbarian. We've got the Encyclopedia Wealth of Knowledge, Mr. Beef the Legend, along with us. Say hello to the people, Beef.
Hello to the people, Beef.
All right. That's very good.
That's a thing.
And yours truly, Mr. Casual Gaming Dad himself, Tiger. Yeah, I can't talk today.
Uppercut.
Thank you, Bomb Tom. And like I said, the Mad King Alec Ransom is out with injury, both kayfabe and work. But
new.
Well, I'm getting to there. And we are in unprecedented times and in unprecedented waters, because after a long time of not having this happen, we have once again come up with not one, but two Cruiserweight champions for you. Beef, why don't you tell the people what happened?
I would love to, Tom. So August was a fun month, but not near as competitive, I'd say, because we didn't have as many matches. It basically went down to two events, SummerSlam and NXT. We'll talk about them. But Ransom, the Mad King, has been displaced. As he said himself, he's had a good run. Ladies and gentlemen, with 67 points overall, your new Cruiserweight champion, Tiger Bomb Tom, Beef the Legend. That's right.
Hashtag the era of hashtag Tiger Beef is upon us.
Tiger Beef is here.
Yes.
Poot, you came pretty close, buddy.
And there is Poot with the exasperated sigh.
The expanded standings, Poot finished with 65 on the month, which was very respectable.
Thanks.
Very, very respectful.
Ransom came in at 53. And Pat came in at 49. Apparently, Pat's wife picked the matches better than he did. And,
we need to get her in on the picks then.
By his own admonition, that is. And then we have Dave.
How many beers have you had, Beef?
None so far today. We'll see if we can change that. Dave actually split the gap between Poot and us with 66. So the top was competitive.
And he didn't even have to cheat this time.
He did not have to cheat. You see what happens? You cheat and you almost win.
You fuck around and find out.
Fuck around and find out.
It is worth noting that there was some fuckery with the Bianca versus Sasha match, so we just awarded points across the board on that one.
We'll
it wasn't fair to take that away. But yeah, it was an interesting weekend for sure in the wrestling world. We got a lot to talk about, boys.
Yeah, thank you, first of all, for admitting that the fuckery was there. I'm not bitter at all, because I think, first of all hail the dual lover champions. You guys are the brass fuckers, not the golden lovers.
the brass fuckers.
like the thing was like, you guys really like that. Wow.
I really like that one. That was good. Wait till you hear the nicknames that we have, courtesy of my buddy Eli's wife Maria. Shout out to her.
Oh, I can't
Just wait.
No,
it's
like,
gonna be great.
My point being that it like I'm not mad at all because number one, I've been a little out of the loop as far as like main rostery stuff goes, and everything. Just like much like with all of us, life has been kind of chaotic right now in bad ways and in maybe some good ways as well. But this was really cool, and I think we had a tie, which is what with this new system we were trying to avoid, but. There's no dispute. There's no argument. There's no it's very clear that it's like, oh, wow. Okay. We had a tie. You know what I mean? Yep. And I think had we not had the chicanery with that match, the Bianca match, I think it would have been a little more clear cut.
So I think, and I don't remember. I never look at what everybody else's picks are after we record and we put the match list out there for the rest of the general public. So I don't know what everybody else picked, but I'm assuming that the consensus was probably Bianca pretty much across the board. Would I be correct in saying that, Beef?
Dave picked Sasha. So if anybody had a bone to pick, it would have been Dave. But I mean, at the end of the day, he would have lost points too.
Yeah,
it's just those are tough. With the points attached to them, we can't just throw them out because you can't just throw away points. So
right, yeah, because there were different amounts of points wagers. So the easiest thing to do was to just award those points, in the first place, and then just let the chips fall where they may with everything else.
And I think that's perfectly fair. I don't think that was. I think that's a good. And by accident, we managed into a way to handle those situations. I think that's a good way to do it going forward.
Yeah, I do too. That's pretty good.
Change approved.
So let's get into the good, the bad, and the ugly. What do we want to start with here?
Let's start with the ugly. Did you guys watch Raw at all on Monday?
No.
I did not.
I was a little busy.
Yeah, I was.
Consider yourselves lucky. I didn't catch a whole ton of it, but I saw enough to make me really upset. Whenever I looked up and Karrion Kross is coming out, I think to myself,
no, yeah,
this shit can't get worse. I think to myself, this shit really can't get worse.
And then it gets worse.
Comes out looking like fucking BDSM Mad Max. Oh my god,
dude!
Didn't they learn their lessons the first time with Retribution?
Dude,
what the fuck are they doing?
That was Tensai level bad. I'm sorry. I understand that's a big puffery statement to make, but I'm not wrong. That was a misstep. That was a gross, dumb misstep.
I don't understand. I really don't understand how you have somebody like Karrion Kross and you can fuck that up. And it really, really, I know we've said before, we've debated this and we've said, they won't fuck up Adam Cole. They can't because Adam Cole has that it factor and this and that and whatever. Listen, if they can fuck up Karrion Kross, I'm really scared that they're going to fuck up Adam Cole, assuming he makes his main roster debut, because it doesn't look like he's going anywhere anytime soon yet. And we'll get to that too. But still, so fucking disappointed.
I mean,
I'm glad I don't watch Raw. I'm glad I don't watch Raw. I haven't even caught the highlights. I haven't bothered.
He beat Ricochet. He beat him quick. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Great. But
still doesn't erase that first fucking match loss to Jeff Hardy. Way to go.
It doesn't. And he squashed Jeff Hardy last week. He tapped him out in 90 seconds. Great. You're right. It does not erase that loss. It doesn't erase the loss to Keith Lee, who has been surprisingly missing, I guess unsurprisingly, missing the last couple of weeks. I don't care. They could have him beat Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship in 90 seconds. and I would still be like, I don't know if I'm buying it because, like,
It's the way they booked him.
Yeah,
It's the way they booked him since he's been on Raw.
And we've talked about it, and we've talked ad nauseum. But man, like, you have this guy who has a fucking like Hitman style character, not like Bret the Hitman Hart, but like Hitman the video game style character in Impact, absolutely running roughshod. Dude's got talent. Dude's got charisma. He's got the arm candy with Scarlett, and it's like, man, they can't fuck this up. They can't fuck this up. And then they bring him on NXT. Like the Hitman thing is gone, but then he's got like the carrion name and
the
like,
end of days sort of stuff.
Yeah, the attachment to death and all that. Like, I'm like, okay, this is cool. I dig this. This works.
Yeah.
And then it just stopped on Raw, and Vince is like, I don't understand why this guy's not getting over. Why can't NXT talents get over? Vince says. Well,
Vince, that's why.
Yeah, it's because you neuter them. You take their testicles, you put them on a jar, and then you wonder why they got no balls. Like, that's why they got no balls, Vince. That's why. So, that's the ugly. And keep in mind, I'm a Demolition fanboy. Demolition is probably the best tag team of all time. I love Demolition, but not in 2021. That ain't gonna fly.
Yeah, that shit don't flush. Like, it's the problem is that, like, and you this, we have talked about so many examples. Every single one of us has talked about an example of where WWE drops the ball. Like, why? The question is always why. And the easy answer, the absolute easy answer is Vince McMahon and his continued obsession with controlling what is happening on the main roster. Like, it is, you know what I mean? And putting his own spin on things. Because it's the idea of like, oh, I know what's best. I know what to do. I know this. I know that. I know this. I know that. But like, you can't, no one can look at what they did with Karrion Kross, taking away. Why? Scarlett is literally, quite literally, if Vince McMahon could build a woman, it would be Scarlett.
Yep.
Like, why would he get rid of Scarlett? What is the impetus? The only reason, and I think that you guys can agree with this, the absolute only reason why this would happen is that Vince is just trying to make a point that NXT personalities don't work on the main roster. Like, NXT doesn't work. That can be the only reason why he's doing this. It has to be.
He just can't get out of his own way. That's the problem. He can't leave well enough alone. He has to fine tune things, even if it's just a little bit. And it's like, no, man, like, here is your perfectly done steak. And he's the kind of guy that sends it back. That's like, it's not quite done enough. And then it comes back out, and he's like, it's overdone. It's ruined. You've ruined it. Damn it, you've ruined it.
Yeah, and you know what I've just really come to the realization now, as we've been talking about this for the umpteenth million time. When you really think about it, it shouldn't surprise us anymore that NXT call-ups get sent to mid-card obscurity, because they're set up from failure from the start. Because, like you said, Vince wants so much control, and we've said it before. Vince doesn't like an idea that he didn't have some sort of input on. People can't get over by themselves organically and naturally. Nope. If he didn't have a hand in it, fuck it. He doesn't want anything to do with it, and just throw it out the window and do whatever Vince wants to do. Whereas in NXT, with the fucking Performance Center and everything that they have, and don't kid yourselves, like, before the Performance Center, I mean, wrestlers of the old will tell you, like, how good it is down there. The fact of, like, the multiple training rings they have, the promo rooms that they have and stuff. You're setting these people up to be able to make their own characters. You have the promo classes and stuff like that. You encourage them to, you encourage them to get themselves over, because you're the only one that can do that. But then you take all that and you throw it out the window, Because once you get on Raw or SmackDown, doesn't matter because you're handed a fucking script and you're said, say this, do this, and that's it. So all that stuff that you're doing was all for naught. It doesn't matter. The only time it serves you any better is if you go outside of the WWE, where you can actually have some creative control, have a little bit of creative freedom, and are encouraged once again to get yourself over. Find that character that you have, get those levels of it, peel it back layer by layer, things like that. Dive a little bit deeper, and it's so fucking asinine. It's so ass backwards the way they do shit when they get to Raw or SmackDown as compared to what they're encouraged and taught to do in NXT. And I don't fucking get it. I don't understand it. It's so goddamn frustrating.
And I mean, it's very counterintuitive. And I mean, realistically, like, I get it, as a man who is, as we all are growing in age, and I'm becoming an old man, like, I understand being set in your ways and wanting to do things your way. I get that. But man, when you had things happen organically, like The Rock, and I realize that The Rock is a 1 in a million guy, that he's a guy, he's a fucking shooting star. I understand all of that.
Right.
But if you stifled him the way that you stifle your current talent now, he wouldn't be where he's at now. I guarantee it. Because that charisma wouldn't have shown through. And they tried to stifle him. Let's not forget the blue chipper, Rocky Maivia.
Die, Rocky, die. Yep.
Eventually, he broke out and said, just let me do it.
Yep.
And at some point, and Jericho has the saying, it's the best thing ever. The way to treat Vince McMahon is by not asking for permission, but rather asking for forgiveness.
Yep.
And
a lot of wrestlers have said that over the years.
Yep. Because if you can prove him wrong, if you can prove that it works, he's more likely to let you do it. And if he sees the dollar signs, if the proof is there, do it. But that's the point.
I don't think it's there anymore though, because you look at Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan absolutely came through with like white hot babyface momentum, a la Stone Cold. Like, there's no reason that he shouldn't have been on the top of the card from like WrestleMania 29 to fucking now. He should have made it this last WrestleMania.
Well,
but Vince just refuses to let it happen.
I think the problem is that, and this is again, this is just a change with the times too. And you've heard other wrestlers say it. There are wrestlers there in the company, not, and I don't think they've ever named specific names, but I think if we look long and hard enough and really, really dive into it, you'd probably be able to figure out who. But there are wrestlers there that are content to show up, take the big money paycheck, and fucking job to somebody on a main event or Superstars recording or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there are people that are content, just like, hey, you know what? I got the money, but they do other things on the side, like they have other platforms and things and other ventures that they have pursued and things like that. But as far as it comes with their wrestling, they're content to be where they're at. Then there are other people that really, really want to show their creative side and the art of the profession that is pro wrestling. Because let's not let's not fucking beat around the bush when we say, like, it is not a fucking easy profession to get into. You have to really, really be a successful professional wrestler. You have to have not only the technical ability, you got to have a marketable look, and you got to have fucking assloads of charisma. Because if you get up there and you can't cut a promo on the microphone, it doesn't matter how fucking talented you are, you're dead in the water.
Yep.
That's all there is to it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And we've seen how many different guys that were technically very, very gifted and just couldn't cut it on the mic, or guys that were, you know, amazing on the microphone, but when it came
dog
to,
shit in the ring, yeah,
dog shit in the ring, you know. Or you get guys now. Bear with me. Don't have a heart attack because I'm actually gonna try to compliment this guy. I'm gonna try. When you have somebody that has the nostalgia appeal, albeit to fucking morons, like a Goldberg, that has the, hold on, it's a backhanded compliment, that has the nostalgia appeal for whatever damn reason because they were foolish enough to buy into it, but he's absolute dog shit in the ring. That's a perfect example right there. Now, he's still not good on the mic. He's definitely not fucking gifted in the ring, but he has...
He lets his son dab in the ring like a dickhead.
Well, I'm glad his son got put in the fucking Hurt Lock. Fuck him too. I don't care. Anyways, that's besides the point. But you get my point. It's to really truly be successful. You know, look at Roman Reigns. Okay, but what was it a couple years ago? Whenever him and Cena had that little feud going on, and they had the SummerSlam match. Whenever they were cutting promos on each other, Cena said to him, he's like, "It's called a promo, Roman. You're gonna have to learn how to do one." That was not like, to my knowledge, that wasn't like scripted. That was a little bit of Cena kind of, you know, doing his own thing because Vince trusted him enough. Cena was probably one of the last of a dying breed. Getting back around to the point that a lot of people now, they don't have the balls to just go do it. They're afraid of, you know, rocking the boat. They're afraid of upsetting the old man.
Well, it's because Vince McMahon has surrounded himself with yes men and to fucking use a turn of phrase that has become all the more important now.
Yeah.
What did he say?
Glad-handed
yes men.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like that's what Vince has with like fucking Johnny Ace and these fucking morons. That just, you know, that's why there's upheaval in NXT right now, because of Johnny Ace and the other buffoons who believe that NXT has quote unquote failed. You're getting 700,000 views a week
on a 2-hour show in
the middle of the fucking week. In no way, shape, form is that a failure, except in Vince's eyes.
Because the fact that it doesn't have the numbers that a Monday Night Raw or a Friday Night SmackDown has, when Raw has been the flagship show and the longest running weekly episodic show on television.
Because it doesn't have the numbers that AEW has. Well, despite the fact that they're not in a ratings war, and despite the fact that AEW is not a competitor like WCW was in the 90s, the reason that NXT is having a brand upheaval right now and that nobody fucking knows what could come in the next month, like literally we're all sitting here on pins and needles going, what's going to happen to our NXT, is because NXT lost to AEW in the ratings consistently. And these morons that are in Vince McMahon's ear that he trusts for whatever fucking reason have convinced him that this is a failure and that NXT is now a failed state and therefore needs to be fixed.
And well, and that I think it's the problem that, like, I mean, I honestly think too it's because, you know, in NXT, I understand he wasn't really around much whenever crowds were there, but when Karrion Kross comes out, it's a big deal. Like, he's a big deal. Why wouldn't... I want to know what the impetus is, and I know we've sung this song a million times, but I want to know the impetus of going, look what someone is doing. Like, you're basically turning your future main roster talent into it, like having a turnkey. You don't have to do... You don't have to put the effort in. Just let them do their thing that they built in NXT. Literally, just let them do their thing. Build it up in NXT, have it be done, and then when they come to the main roster, just say, do more of that. And you sit back and just watch the magic happen. If there are tweaks that need to be done, you make those tweaks. But otherwise, you just let the money roll on in. And I know Vince has made his money, but like, why would you not want that? Why would you not want to just have a turnkey money-making business with really talented, entertaining people?
Exactly. And if somebody tries to argue the fact, well, you don't want the gimmick to get stale, you don't want the character to get stale. 2 words for you: John fucking Cena. Okay, he got stale for how long? You know, and people bitched about him and stuff like that. If somebody's sitting there telling Vince, well, we got to change this because now, you know, people have been following him in NXT. They're going to want to see something different when he comes up here to Monday Night Raw or on to SmackDown. No. You're fucking full of shit. Because if you can sit there and force feed John Cena down our throats for how long, people can deal with, you know, another 6 months to a year of somebody that they were following in NXT. And if they're smart, I don't know. They're not smart at all. I think the best fucking thing that they could do at this point, I hope to God they're preparing to fucking sell and Vince gets the fuck out of the picture and we get somebody in there that will overall care and do the right. Like, I hope and pray that Triple H, you know, moves up the chain somehow or whatever and can be in a position to go, okay, you know what? I don't know what Vince was doing. There was a lot of disagreement. This is what needs to be done, and fucking, or somebody willing to listen to the people who are saying, hey, you know what? Maybe this isn't a good idea. Nah, fuck it. It's such good shit. No, it's not, Vince. It's not at all.
And at the end of the day, like, I understand that we lay a lot of this on the feet of Vince McMahon, but honestly, I don't think, like, yes, I understand that he has an ironclad grip on his product, and that's never going to go away. But I think he's also detached from much of it, too. So as much as I want to say, damn you, Vince, the name that keeps coming up and keeps coming around is fucking Johnny Ace. He was around during the fucking CM Punk follies. Let's remember how the WWE Summer of Punk ended. Spoiler alert: it was with Punk. It was with Punk jobbing to Triple H and then losing the fucking title to Alberto Del Rio. Like, that was a Johnny Ace product. So like I keep hearing the name Johnny Ace, and I'm like, man, it's tough. It's tough because we're not there. We don't have the kind of pressure that Vince McMahon has. We can sit here and armchair quarterback the whole thing. That's all well and good, but at the end of the day, you gotta have people you trust, and I think that the people that Vince McMahon trusts are just letting him down. You know.
Well,
somebody's feeding him some bullshit, you know. That's all I'm saying, is that I think that somebody's convinced him that NXT has failed, and I don't think that that's the case.
Well, speaking of the Summer of Punk, I mean, unless you've been living under a rock or are completely tuned out to everything going on in the wrestling world, there's let me borrow his phrase. It's clobbering time, because CM Punk has made his AEW official debut. Beef being the marquee Punk mark. Take us down this road here.
Beef, really quick.
Yeah, man.
Really quick. Can I say how amazing it was? The first words out of Punk's mouth were about Britt Baker.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's you know, that's CM Punk in a fucking nutshell. All right, so this is the point of the podcast where I get down on my knees and I cup Phil Brooks's balls and I take the dick deep down my throat.
Don't
If
forget to reach
you're-
around.
If you're not into CM Punk, if you're not a CM Punk guy, you might want to skip ahead a little bit because I'm going to be real with you right now. CM Punk knows the wrestling business unlike many others. There are very few with that scope of understanding of everything it takes to be a wrestling guy. Triple H is in that category, though shackled. Paul Heyman was in that category at one point and was also shackled in a different way. But these guys can see the business from like a top-down, bird's eye view, and they fucking get it. So whenever CM Punk's first words put over Britt Baker, that gives you the exact reason why he's back. Because he sees credibility and believability in a product right now that he wants to get behind. My favorite quote is that August 13th, 2005 was my last match Ring of Honor, and I left. So I look at it like this. August 13th, 2005, I left professional wrestling. August 20th, 2021, I'm back. You cannot put a better spin on his career than that. Basically saying that the WWE years didn't matter, have no effect on him,
Yep.
and have no place in his life. Now, I'm sure that's for the marks. Okay, I'm sure that's for the smart marks. Guilty. I gobbled it the fuck up.
Slurp,
But
slurp.
there is an ounce of truth in that. Because we know that Vince regards WWE as entertainment. They're
Sports
sports
entertainment.
entertainers.
Yep.
They are not wrestlers.
They're superstars. They're not professional wrestlers.
Yep.
Yep.
They have championships, not belts. You know, these kind of things. Vince, he's a mogul. I will give him every ounce of credit. He made a business from the ground up and is now worth many millions of dollars. But he is not professional wrestling. CM Punk is a guy that is professional wrestling. Just the absolute... So they came in on the shot, and it was just CM Punk chants. And we said last week that they had to start the show with CM Punk. There was no way that they could do anything but that. Otherwise, the entirety of the program would be
Hijacked.
And it would have been. And when he came out, when Call to Personality hit, that was one of the biggest pops I've experienced in my life.
Nuclear pop. Bigger.
Nuclear.
You know how they say Road Warrior pop? I think we now have a new level above that. That was insanity.
That rivaled and probably was better than his pop and Money in the Bank.
Yep.
Because of Money in the Bank, he was still being booked as a heel. Here, he's the fucking like returning hero, and I you know, there are many great takeaways from his return, but I think the biggest is that the organization and the people, the wrestling fans and the people in the back, like the other wrestlers, brought him back because he's like, I can work with this guy, I can work with that guy, I can put this guy over, I can do this. He's not there to earn a paycheck, although I guarantee he's going to be getting a good fat paycheck.
Yeah.
He's not there to win titles, and again, I guarantee you he's going to win titles. He is there to ensure that the next generation of athletes, of wrestler, gets over. That the same reason that Jericho is there, to ensure that this company is seated for the long haul. Now, fast forwarding to his promo on Wednesday night, a really cool moment broke out where the fans were doing the yes cheer. He stops them and he says, "Nope, that's the other guy's shtick. You may want to have a little bit of patience with that."
Yep.
And the crowd was fucking nuts.
Yep.
Like, and I don't know if Tony Khan was cool with that. I imagine he probably doesn't mind because it gets people talking, it gets that buzz, it gets that anticipation.
Yep.
When will we see Daniel Bryan? Or Bryan Danielson? Will it be at All Out? Will it be in Flushing Meadows? Where will it be? We don't know. So we gotta watch until we find out. So there again, like putting over the fucking product to make people go, "Oh, that's gonna be coming soon. I gotta tune in."
Yep.
Super fucking smart dude. He's facing Darby Allin at All Out. I have mixed emotions about that because I don't think he needs to win. Like I don't think he needs to beat Darby Allin, but you can't have CM Punk lose in his AEW debut. You could have it go Broadway.
Yeah,
but
that's single-handedly going to be probably the toughest pick that I think that we have on the all-out card, in my own personal opinion. Whatever else we have, whatever other picks for September, that match single-handedly will probably be the hardest one for me personally to pick.
Yeah, for sure, because it could literally go either way, because Darby Allin is the exact type of guy that he's talking about, wanting to get over, wanting to make the next guy.
Yep.
Like I said, weird that they tap him for his initial debut match. But that's cool, man. I'm in for it.
I think Punk wanted it. I think Punk obviously had a say in it, and I think that's who he wanted. And
yep.
I don't blame him because Darby Allin is, fits that whole ethos, man, of like the different one, the small guy. Like think about in Punk. I'm gonna be so bold right now. I believe that Punk is gonna go over on that one. However, he's gonna make Darby Allin look like $500 billion. He's gonna make Darby Allin look so good. It's gonna be insane.
Yep. Yeah. Regardless of who goes over, because there's an old saying that Bully Ray says, it's not about going over, or it's not about winning or losing. It's about getting over. You don't have to go over to get over. You can. He said that a lot of times. Back in the day, him and Dreamer used to argue about who was going to lose the match, because they felt, even though like whoever it was that was going to be losing was going to be the one that was still getting over more or whatever. So we've seen it happen before. It's like, okay, you're going to lose, but make this person look strong, whatever. Again, it's going to be a very, very hard one to pick for me, but.
And regardless, like I think that we all win. I really do, because that's going to be a really great match, and just a good foray for Punk to enter into.
Yeah.
And so the rest of the card last night was, I don't want to say lacking, but it was certainly almost on coast mode, which is okay, I think.
You're going to have those weeks.
Yeah, like you don't have your top champion wrestling, you don't have your tag team champions wrestling, and you can't, you definitely don't want to oversaturate that kind of thing. And I get that, and that's 100% okay. I mean, you want to have focus on the Jericho promo. You want to have focus on the Punk promo. Like you're.
Now, can I ask what happened with Jericho? Because after last week, which that was the fact that we got like 2 goosebump moments from AEW within the same week, with Punk Friday on Rampage in Chicago. And then, a couple nights before, with Jericho on Dynamite, coming out to, an a cappella crowd rendition of Judas, like that was oh, I'm getting goosebumps again just talking about it. That was pretty amazing. But what happened with Jericho's promo after the fact of all those events of that match with MJF?
Bottom line is it sets up what is likely going to be the final match with MJF, where Jericho has put his AEW career on the line.
You think so?
No, that's the condition for the match. Like, if he does not win, he will not wrestle in AEW again.
Hooray, I was halfway right last time whenever we were talking about it at the beginning of the podcast. You were like, where do we go from here? And I said, I don't know. Loser leaves AEW, like Jericho's retirement. So there you go.
And you know, we'll see where they go with it. We'll see how creative they get. But I will say that they have been sticklers, at least for Cody's thing. Like, Cody lost, he has not been near that world title since.
Right.
So, you know, this could be a big deal if Jericho loses. Again, I don't think he will, because MJF has beat him 3 times. Jericho has to beat him at least once. That's my 2 cents. But regardless, you know, so they wanted that, and then they really gave a prime spot to the Varsity Blondes and the Lucha Brothers to really have a great match, and they delivered. They had a really good match to kind of be I don't want to say the main event, because there was, you know, a match as the main event, but they gave them a shot to be like, you know, the showcase match, as it were.
Good.
And they delivered. And then as you close the show, Malachi Black does his thing against Arn's Kid. A little bit of a kerfuffle there. Apparently, and I was in and out at this point, but apparently Arn Anderson blocked the Black Mass. I have thoughts about that.
I have not seen or heard about this at all.
Like, their finishers anymore are very
protected.
Well, other way. Like, they're very kind of like,
cavalier.
You know, not protected. Yeah, exactly. Now there are a few moves like Kenny Omega's One Winged Angel, which has yet to be kicked out from.
Is it really? I thought. Yeah. I thought
no,
one person
it was,
has.
Nope.
2012 was the last time it happened.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
That was well before Kenny the Cleaner. Well before any of that. So yeah.
Okay. Kudos to them for protecting that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So like in an era where we have Michaels and Undertaker kicking out of each other's finishers 4 times, and Brock Lesnar hitting the F5 8 times in a match. Like, it's nice to see that. So I don't know, man. I lost my train of thought with that. Oh, the Black Mass and Arn blocking it. Like, I get that Arn Anderson is a legend and a founding member of the 4 Horsemen and all that happy horse shit. But, like, this is fucking
horsemen shit.
Yeah, right. This is fucking Malachi Black, and this is the fucking Black Mass. That's the one thing that WWE did pretty well. They made that a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
I don't know why you have Arn block it. That seems kind of silly, but it is what it is. I think it's all just a vessel so that he can get Cody in the ring all out.
At least, I look at it this way. At least it was someone with the pedigree of Arn Anderson, someone who is historically a fucking tough son of a bitch. Like, at least it was that. Like, Arn still carries his name and his legacy, carries the weight of that. Yeah. If it would have been like Marco Stunt, then I'd be a little pissed off. But like, or even if it was someone like, I don't know, if it was someone like, no offense to him or anything, because I really like him in the ring, but like Ricky Starks, I would have been a little more upset. But like, because it's Arn Anderson, and he looks like that guy at the end of the bar that you see when you go into a dive bar, who just like looks like that if you like touched him, you would just like immediately grow facial hair. Like, Arn Anderson is a tough son of a bitch. Like,
I like that.
You know what I mean? Like, so I get it. Like, it was kind of a not stupid decision, but it was. I think it was just poorly timed. I think if they would have let it breathe a little bit more and given him more time and built it, that it was this super dominating kick instead of doing it so quick, I think it would have been a little less of a faux pas.
Good point.
And like, again, I understand all of the hubbub for Malachi Black. I think that he is going to be an absolute star and a godsend for them. But to have him get in the ring at 9:56 when your program is over at 10 p.m. is kind of ridiculous, I don't see the value in it. So so that just goes to show that, hey, even when all cylinders are hitting on AEW, sometimes they still get a couple things wrong. And again, like, we're not too big to talk about that. We equal opportunity hate. But yeah, I mean, the All Out card is shaping up to be a really good one. You have the Bucks in a cage match against either the Lucha Brothers or Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. You're going to have Omega defending against Christian, and we know what that match is going to be like. We've seen it once already. You have Moxley versus Onita, which is going to be fucking crazy, I'm sure. You have the blow off for Jericho and MJF, and of course CM Punk's debut. So there's a lot to look forward to here next Sunday night.
I can't believe that's going to be coming up that quickly. My God,
dude, it like, that's the thing, is like, lately, meeting new people through work or just talking to people. Like, the other weekend I played that metal fest. I played that festival. I met all the other bands and stuff, and they saw my patches, and I got a whole bunch of 2 Sweets because of the Bullet Club patch.
Nice.
And it was really cool. And like, meeting those guys and BSing with them about this stuff was a lot of fun. But there were some people who, like, I meet that, I say, oh yeah, I do a podcast about wrestling. And they say, oh yeah, I used to watch whenever it was, of course, ready, The Rock, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, all that.
Undertaker.
Yeah, Undertaker. And
Stone
obviously not dismissing them, but that's whenever they would watch, you know what I mean? And then they quote unquote grew out of it. I tell everyone now, I said, listen, if you're a lapsed wrestling fan, this right now with AEW, and it's no offense to NXT is just being mishandled. Like, it's with AEW, I tell them, if you want to enjoy a wrestling show, watch AEW. Like, you won't, they might recognize, but again, this is why, and we discussed this the other week. That's why there are guys like Chris Jericho. There's guys like CM Punk. There's guys like, even Arn Anderson for people who might be older. Like
Christian.
Yeah. Like, you see these names and they go, oh, I remember him. But then they watch, matches. They watch Jungle Boy. They watch the Lucha Bros. They watch Pac. They watch MJF and they go, oh, this guy's great. Or, oh, I hate this guy. Or, I love this guy. Like, you know what I mean? And I tell them, if you want to get back into wrestling, watch AEW Dynamite and Rampage. Bar none.
Yep.
Because you will be very sports entertained.
And to further piggyback off that, that's the other thing. When I hear the same thing from people. They say, oh, I used to watch it back when ... Oh, and I tell them, well, it's good times right now. There's a lot of very, very talented wrestling going on in NXT and in AEW. And I was like, it's a good time to be a fan and get back into it, because there's a lot of there's a lot more viable options. It's not just, everything WWE right now. There's a lot of good wrestlers in a lot of different promotions. You just gotta, kind of seek out some of it because some of it's not as widely known. They're like, well, yeah, I wouldn't know anybody. I'm like, that's fine. You can start to get invested in new storylines and new characters and whatever, new personalities again. Like, I get the fact that it's like, oh well, am I gonna waste my time everything, not everything hits 100% of the time. How many times do you hear about like this new show on Netflix or something? You go check it out and you're like, that was fucking dog shit. These people were crazy. I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
And then the other times you're like, then you're scrolling through and you've never even heard of one. You turn it on, you're like, this is fucking awesome. Like you just give it a chance, But I don't want to suckle too much on the AEW teat. I'd like to get into some SummerSlam because it was worth noting. It was was a decent show overall. I think.
Let's start with the question.
Go ahead.
SummerSlam,
touted
as previously in years past the biggest block party of the summer, the biggest party of the summer, yada yada yada. This year touted as the biggest show of the year. To you, both of you, I ask, did SummerSlam deliver on its promise to be the biggest show of the year?
I'll let you go first because I already know my answer.
No. I mean, there were highlights. I mean, if you're talking about within the context of WWE and that bubble, then maybe. I mean, I like you look at things like you said, the matches were good. You had some like goosebumpy moments with like Edge coming out to the Brood theme. I popped so hard when I saw that. I was
same here.
thrilled. I was, dude. It literally made me, for that little bit of time. It gave me the feeling of being in my teens again, watching wrestling with the dudes and like keeping up with it and like really super heavy. Like everything stopped when it was time for Monday night. Like that was the thing. It's like I'd be in the middle of homework. I'd be in the middle of whatever. Done. Yep. No, we're doing this now. And like Edge's face, like the mannerisms and everything, it was perfect. I mean, and we're going to obviously talk about it, but Brock Lesnar coming back with his weird onion head. I mean, I'm not wrong. Like that.
No, you're not wrong.
But like that's
I dug it. I dug it.
It
looks like a badass Viking.
Dude,
I dig it, but it's weird.
He looks
different.
He looks like the Grand Protector of Whoville. Like it's like I can't, like I'm not gonna lie, but then the more that I looked at him, I was like, oh man, Dean Ambrose finally evolved. Like it was of course I'm joking, but like it was like, dude, it was so cool when Brock Lesnar came out. Paul Heyman sold that. Like there were cool moments, and the matches weren't absolute dog shit except for one of them.
We're gonna get to that.
But like, would I say WWE's biggest show of the year? I guess, yeah. But the biggest show of the year in wrestling? Not even fucking close.
Yeah, okay. I'm also gonna say a no. And for all the reasons that Poot mentioned, there were highlights. The card itself, there was the match. The card itself of all the matches laid out was a good card overall. There was I'm gonna even further off of another moment that was kind of unwanted and unneeded, but turned into something kind of cool for the smart marks. The whole Miz and John Morrison, Mr. Johnny Drip Drip, and the whole drip stick stuff and the drip stick 2000 or whatever. And then you had Xavier Woods coming out basically a la Scott Hall. And that was good. That was funny. But I feel like for the quote unquote casual fan or somebody who, who didn't know who Scott Hall was, whether it was in the realm of Razor Ramon or, a la Scott Hall, the Outsiders in WCW, maybe it fell a little short on them. You know what I mean? Like, maybe there was like, oh, here comes, Xavier. He's going to be the Folly to them. Fucking something funny. He's going to, Miz and Morrison going to get squirted with the water god. Ha, funny. Okay. But no, there was like more to it than that. Like it was better on a deeper level than just that. But it was unneeded. I could have gone without it, but overall, no, I wouldn't say it's their biggest show of the year because that's something counterintuitive to me. You want to call SummerSlam the biggest show of the year, but yet WrestleMania is supposed to be your biggest show of the year. So why would you say SummerSlam is going to be the biggest show of the year when you already had what was supposed to be, and still, in my opinion, in the realm of WWE, was the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania, not only because of the fact that it is WrestleMania, but the fact that it's the only major pay-per-view that WWE has ever done that's been like a 2-night event. That to me already says biggest show of the year. So yeah, I don't know what they're smoking when they're coming up with these taglines, but it wasn't a bad event overall. There were definitely some things that were really awesome, like the ones that Poot mentioned, but there was one in particular that was
So
we're gonna get to that.
Yeah, I'll kind of pivot into that. My problem with SummerSlam is my problem with WrestleMania, is my problem with the main roster overall, and that is missed opportunities, botched momentum, and like just unfortunate booking situation.
Yep.
I'll go back to WrestleMania Night 2. Night 1 was amazing. They had a great card top to bottom. Not a bad spot on it. Including fucking Bad Bunny, for God's sakes.
Yeah, he surprised a lot of us, I feel.
And had a lot of momentum. And then you lead into the Fiend, who the fans are just behind and love, and it's a big fucking deal. And then you have a choke job, and what ends up being Bray Wyatt's final WWE match. Like I personally never recovered from it. I like that tore the wind out of my sails, and I was like, I'm done. Like Night 2, I'm out. Same thing with SummerSlam. Couple bad booking decisions really made it tough for me to enjoy the back end of the card. We'll talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the return of Becky Lynch. So forces, unbeknownst to anybody but Sasha Banks and WWE apparently, prevented Sasha from wrestling on SummerSlam. Now, if there are conflicting reports. Some people say that WWE knew as long as a week ahead of time, so that they had time to fix this. But instead, they chose to spend that time, crossing their fingers and being like, "Oh, hopefully Mercedes comes back. Like, hopefully she'll be back in time," and as opposed to putting a plan B into motion, which would have been the smart thing to do. So, of course, again, if you know, Becky Lynch returned, huge pop. Understandably, Becky Lynch was a big deal when she left. Looks great after having the kid. Like, good for her. Working hard. Appreciate it. Here's what I don't appreciate. WrestleMania, you did a good job of making new stars. They're going to carry your brand, at least for the next couple of years. Guys like Bobby Lashley, guys like that darn Randy Orton. I'm kidding. But and the ladies, I think, were the biggest beneficiaries. Rhea Ripley really made a name for herself that night by beating Asuka, and then Bianca Belair having that lights out match with Sasha Banks. That you made 2 stars in the women's division that night. And if you ask a lot of people, they'll tell you that Bianca was the one they came away remembering the most. And you have Becky Lynch come back and just absolutely snuff out that flame. I don't get it. Poot, help me, or Tom, one of the two of you help me understand why that happened.
Go ahead, Poot, because I don't understand it.
Dude, I don't. I feel like maybe it's just kind of a product of circumstance. Like, honestly, I maybe it's one of those things again, which seems to be WWE kind of getting in its own way as an entity is wont to do. Like you just they were like, oh well, this isn't gonna happen, so let's bring back Becky. Becky's ready to come back, so we'll just have that. I don't know, man. Like I feel like WWE can't get out of its own way. Like it really is. It's that simple.
With that,
I know that's like a cop-out answer, but it really does feel that way. It feels like they just can't just stop and just not make trigger happy decisions.
Well, and here's the thing too. Like, so let's not belittle the fact that the night before all this goes down with SummerSlam, CM Punk comes back on AEW. You can't sit there and tell me that somebody, that they didn't have some sort of like everybody's been talking about it. They probably had an idea, like the rest of us, that Punk was going to come out and make his AEW debut. So what do they counter with? Well, let's really shock the fans. Let's have Becky come back. And, caveat, let's have her beat Bianca in like 20 seconds. That'll really shock them. Shock isn't the word I would go with. It pissed off a lot of people because I was grabbing a drink while Beef was talking about it, but I'm going to assume that he alluded to the fact, like him and I talked about when we were watching it together on Saturday. It's like you took Bianca's, historic like WWE WrestleMania moment. You took her WrestleMania moment and this huge push that you've been giving her, and you just fucking snuffed it out just like that. That's not how you build stars. Like, now I get it in the sense that there is the whole idea that the money's in the chase for Bianca. Okay, maybe you could get somebody to bite with that, but the point is having Bianca lose wasn't the problem. Having her lose in 20 seconds to a returning Becky Lynch, that's the fucking problem right there. That's a missed opportunity. You could have taken out that fucking Miz and Morrison segment there, which was probably a good 5 minutes, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
You could. Yeah. My girlfriend just said too long. Okay. Because she was sitting here watching along with myself and Beef and my buddy Eli and his wife Maria, and Maria and my girlfriend, not being necessarily wrestling fans, just kind of knowing a little bit of what goes on via osmosis through us. They're saying, they're like, what the fuck is this? And we're like, we don't know. We don't have a good explanation. But they could have taken that time right there, missed opportunity. They could have taken that time that they put into that segment, and they could have used it in the match for Bianca and Becky. And they could have even taken it a step further, and they could have had Carmella, who was already out there. They could have made it a triple threat match, because at least in my opinion, a triple threat match that, albeit if it was still a short triple threat match, would have been more digestible and easy to get over than a fucking 20-second squash where you just snuff out Bianca's WrestleMania build. You could have had that go a number of ways. You could have still had Becky. You could have had Becky go over. You could have had her, pin Bianca, all well and fine. Because Bianca could say, well, you know what? You could counter with, okay, well, you know what? I didn't lose to just one person. I was in a triple threat. So, one-on-one, I guarantee you I could beat you and have that, that bravado and that, fighting spirit. Or number two, you have Becky, beat Carmella. And then that way it still protects Bianca and keeps her still looking strong because she didn't eat the pin. Now, I know that's always a cop-out in any triple threat match. Somebody's always there to eat the pin. I get that. But when it works, it works. I want to pivot real quick and talk about a point that Beef and I were making during the Lashley and Goldberg match, speaking about protecting people.
I was just about to go into that too. Yeah, man.
God, great minds think alike. # Tiger Beef. I love it. So why? And I even half called this before it happened. Beef will attest to this. When at near the end of the Goldberg and Lashley match, which I'm surprised it went as long as it did, because fucking any Goldberg match that's longer than 5 minutes is a fucking miracle unto itself.
That may have been the longest Goldberg match in history.
Yeah, the actual bell to bell, I believe that is. I may have to go back, and the only match that may have been longer than that would have been the
match.
The William Regal debacle, as we'll like to call it.
The William Regal debacle. That's the name of my punk band.
I want to be a part of this band. But no, that match, despite the fact that it involved my most hated person in all of professional wrestling, it was a serviceable match. Given the participants, or the one participant in particular. And
Tom's being extra nice to Goldberg tonight.
I'm listen. It's been a weird week. Okay, let's just leave it at that. The match itself, nothing serviceable to Goldberg, but I mean, I'm here to get, I'll call a spade a spade. It was probably one of the longest Goldberg matches that there ever were, because the man can't fucking wrestle his way out of a wet paper bag. That's number one. But at the end, whenever MVP hit Goldberg in the leg with the cane, now here we go. I get to shit on Goldberg again. Holy fucking delayed reaction, Batman. You're about a second and a half too late. Oh, yeah. Fuck, I forgot to... I forgot to sell. You know why you forgot to sell? Because you're not used to ever having to actually sell, because all you did was come out and fucking snarl, kick, spit, spear, jackhammer, fucking end of match. That's all you were trained to do, because you suck. But I digress. Getting back into actually trying to analyze this and not just shit on Goldberg. So after that fact, he's selling the knee injury or whatever, and Lashley is taking advantage of it. And I looked at Beef and I said, fuck, this is really gonna go one of two ways. I was like, either fucking Goldberg's gonna come back from this as a superhero and win, or they're gonna call a fucking ref stoppage to this. And they called the ref stoppage. And you know what that did? That made Goldberg still look strong, because he didn't eat a pin. He didn't get submitted. There was a ref stoppage. You know what that does? That sets up for a fucking blood money return match, and Goldberg walking out as the fucking champion. God help us all.
You know what else that does, though? It draws a very, very stark contrast between Goldberg and Punk. And again, anybody who's listening to this podcast, I don't have to explain how stark this contrast is, but it just proves the point. Goldberg is worried about himself and money. Punk is worried about the future of the sport. Punk wants to put people over, wants to make people look good. Goldberg doesn't want to fucking lose on, quote-unquote, the biggest show of the year. That is in a fucking nutshell is the problem with Goldberg.
Yep.
Bingo. Like and I think that's it's the difference between I mean you could argue this one way or another, but like
Don't.
WWE
Sorry.
WWE is it is, and we've said it before, they are the old guard. They are the old guard, and no matter how much they did evolve over time during, the Attitude Era or whatever, they tried something new, they evolved, they did this, they did that. There's still always a tinge of the for lack of a better term, the territory, if you will. There just is. It's just there. The territory days, the old days, the Carney days, like it's just always going to be ingrained in WWE. There's not going to be anything super deeper than that. I mean, it's all, or even if they do change, they change their packaging, they change their music, they change everything else. That's always going to be an underlying tone that's just there. The thing about AEW and how you want the Punk versus Goldberg thing is that they are the new. They are, they're doing this, arguably the same thing. I mean, AEW's not reinventing the wheel. Like, we're not saying they're reinventing the wheel, but they're making the wheel that when you go to buy new ones, you can either buy the ones that are $79 a set and might make you out of the parking lot, or you can get a set of tires that are going to last you for 150,000 miles. Like, that's, and I understand for any car people out there, that's not how tires work, but like, you get what I'm saying. AEW is trying to make a better wheel, not reinvent it. Like, they're giving people what they want. WWE is not worried about fans. They're not worried about these things because their main revenue sources come from other places. AEW, they have Tony Khan, but Tony Khan wants to make money. How does he make money? Make people fucking happy.
Yep, that's a pretty good way of doing it. Speaking of making people happy, I think a lot of people were pretty pumped up at the end of SummerSlam to see Brock Lesnar come back. Like we talked about it, it's going to set up for an interesting match. Now, I'm assuming that this Brock Lesnar Roman Reigns thing is going to take place at the at Blood Money 7. What are we on? I don't know. Blood Money 7. Fucking global pandemic bloodening.
Blood Money 7, the capillary incident.
Yeah, the capillary incident. I like it. I honestly feel, and not just because it's Brock Lesnar, but if they are setting up for this title match to be done overseas in Saudi Arabia or whatever, I think this is probably the time that you might actually see Roman lose this title because, a title change overseas at a Saudi show doesn't carry the same weight as losing it on pay-per-view in the States. You know what I mean? Am I wrong or?
Let me give you my best Lee Corso here in the spirit of college football coming back in a week. Not so fast, my friend. Brock Lesnar has, I think...
Sorry, Cat was like chewing on my headphone cord. So if you hear me randomly yelling at someone or something, it's the cat.
Fair enough. Brock Lesnar, I believe it's reported that he has about 8 dates on his current deal, which is about a year and a half, which is about matching what he had prior. So saying that from SummerSlam until, I don't know, WrestleMania 23 or 30, 43, I don't know, 2023, the year of 2023.
43, 23, hut.
WrestleMania 2023 in Los Angeles. So basically saying from now until then is when he's going to be around. You have 8 dates to play with. Now, I'm sure more can be added or removed as needed. But I don't know that I waste one of those dates on Saudi Arabia. I think it's very clear that the fans here stateside, which, by the way, is your fucking bread and butter. By you taking big matches like this, potentially, overseas is pissing where you expect to eat, which is not a smart fucking thing to do. So, I do not believe that you'll see Brock Lesnar there just because of the dates to his contract.
Oh, Brock Lesnar.
Reportedly, this was supposed to be held off until WrestleMania 2023. That was going to be the main event, was Lesnar versus Reigns. So they, in other words, they had a pretty fucking long-term goal for Reigns. That has changed, and it's been moved up, obviously. I think we'll see this match ultimately come to fruition next year's WrestleMania, which I think then lays the groundwork for you-know-who, fucking Dwayne, to come back and, oh, WrestleMania's in Hollywood. We have the biggest star in Hollywood main eventing WrestleMania. What better time to give him a rub than to take the fucking title that you've been building for fucking 3 years? I don't know, man. The whole thing fucking stinks.
Sorry, so you think Roman's gonna hold on to the title until Mania? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah. And
Okay.
if rumors are to be believed, he's probably gonna hang on to it for another year past this year's Mania. Or
Really?
at the very least, we'll end up back with it by that point.
Wow. That's.
Only to probably lose to The Rock.
I was gonna say that's putting a lot of faith in Roman. Don't get me wrong.
I absolutely don't think that's unreasonable right now, though.
No,
I don't at
No.
all. Like Roman.
No. It's fine. It's not unreasonable, but I'm just surprised that they would actually put that much faith in somebody with how wishy-washy they have been in the past, and how short-sighted they usually are, and they don't plan out long-term bookings so far out. Like, that's what surprises me. Like, don't get me wrong. I love Roman's work as a heel right now. But I don't know. Do you think at some point he gets to that point of being such a good heel that ends up making good points and then kind of subsequently does a pseudo face turn? Like,
No.
Okay.
Not this Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Unless they change it up. And here's what's funny. Again, assuming that their plan is to ultimately have the clash be between Roman and The Rock. In this climate that we're talking about, I could foresee where Roman gets a 40-60 split of The Rock's cheers. Because The Rock would be a guy that's coming off the fucking street. Coming off the fucking Hollywood set. We all remember fucking 10 years ago, and I'm never leaving again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Where the fuck has he been for the last, 7 years?
Roman can just use that and use that and use that. Like,
not gonna lie, one of the I don't know, one of the best moments for Roman that I've heard him on the mic as of late was with his most recent spattering with John Cena, where he's like, John, same old shtick. It's like missionary position every night, over and over again. And I was like, this is great. I was like, that was one of the best lines I've ever heard.
heel Roman is good Roman. That and put that beef away.
Yep.
I'm never gonna forget put that beef away. That was hilarious.
I missed that one. What was put that beef away?
He was talking
With
to
Miro.
Miro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Miro took his shirt off, and Roman just dismissively was like, "Yo, put that beef away. Come on!" Like in the middle of his promo, and people popped for it, and it was in the heat of whenever they were just booing the shit out of Roman Reigns. People popped for it because he let himself be who he is.
But now here's the important question: assuming that you're right, Beef, assuming that that they do run with Roman all the way up to Mania and they keep this title on him, who who are the faces that they have go up against him? Because I don't like. I can think of a couple right off the top of my head. Okay, I can think of a couple, but I don't know if it's enough to carry all the way to Mania. Obviously, you have Big E with his Money in the Bank contract. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You could always put Kevin Owens back in there, but that's kind of been done a little bit to death, in a sense, as of late. So you'd have to have him like on the later end of that stuff. You got
Edge.
Cesaro.
Edge.
Okay, you got Edge. Yeah.
Well, let's not forget there's a draft coming up here in about 2 months or so, a month and
Is
a half
it?
or so. Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure when the draft was. So okay, I guess
I think you could see a reinvigorated Keith Lee make a real hard push at a main event.
assuming they actually fucking use him. Yeah. I mean, there's that. There's Drew, but again, yeah, I okay. Maybe there's a little bit more. I guess I wasn't considering the draft, and I wasn't considering the Raw roster. But honestly, the Raw roster, say that 5 times fast. That's not very face heavy itself either. Like really, a lot of the big faces that you would have in main event title pushes are mostly on SmackDown, if we really think about it.
Well, and the reality is, if ultimately WrestleMania 2022, their plan is to go with Lesnar versus Reigns for the millionth time, which I have no problem with if they could pull it off. But if that's your idea, like, you got to have a pretty firm plan in place for Roman to basically carry the feud by himself.
Yeah, and I don't know that not only Roman or just anybody in fucking WWE creative is that good with that long term of booking to pull that off. I'm sorry.
Well, you have Heyman with him. Heyman, I think, adds an interesting dynamic.
I mean, yes, Heyman. Okay, let me put it this way.
Yes, but basically.
Yes, but Heyman unshackled or very loosely shackled could, more than likely successfully pull that off. But let's not forget who and what we're dealing with and the times that we're in.
Tom, are you trying to say that WWE is leaning too hard on the stars of the past and haven't been doing a good job of making new babyface stars?
Well, I know, Beef. I would never insinuate. I would never.
You're shitting me.
I would never assume that. Come on.
If only there was a roster.
Guys, we're drifting off into some really absurd territory here. Okay, like that you can't.
If only there was a roster of guys ready-made that were huge faces that were getting big-time pops. Guys like, Aleister Black and Keith Lee.
Johnny
guys
Gargano.
Guys that are really getting over
Arian
somewhere.
Cross and Adam Cole, baby. Huh.
And
where
that's,
where could we turn to for this?
At the end of the day, chickens come home to roost, Bobby Boucher. Like, this is what happens. This is what happens when you fight a stranger in the Alps.
And also, football is the devil.
Football is devil.
But
this is when you short-term book.
Yep.
This is what happens. This is what happens, Larry.
Fuck around and find out, Vince.
Yep, exactly. So whereas AEW is going to be poised going into the next fucking decade with guys like MJF, Hangman Page, Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, Ricky Starks, I could go on. Taz's kid. All those guys from Hook.
Hook, yeah. Jungle Boy. Jungle
Powerhouse
Boy.
Hobbs.
Powerhouse Hobbs. The list goes on and on and on.
Dark Order.
All these fucking young guys that are like, we sit here and we go, boy, Ray Phoenix, they're spectacular. Like,
Yeah.
That's why we spend so much time harping about what AEW is doing right and what WWE is doing wrong, because while right now it may make the most sense, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, I think we'll look back and see this era as a pivotal turning point.
Oh yeah.
To where mistakes were made. And listen, I'm not gonna bury the lead here. I'm real pissed that Charlotte Flair won the women's title again.
Yep,
because
for the 5,232nd time, it's ridiculous.
Because you have, I don't know, I feel really gypped about Rhea Ripley. Like I'm very, very bitter because that was another star that NXT handmade. Here you go on a silver platter, ready to go, like Asuka, like Sasha Banks, like Becky Lynch. And what happened? Each and every one of those women fell to fucking Charlotte.
Yep.
It's like a god dang rite of passage. And I fucking hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And here's what I hate even more.
Do you hate it though?
I do. Here's what I hate even more. On a long enough timeline,
the survival rate for everyone drops to 0.
No, drops to Charlotte. Woo.
That too, but we know where she's probably gonna end up.
God, fucking hope not.
So
that's the one person I don't ever want to see anywhere near AEW. For the love of Christ, please don't let it happen. Dear sweet baby Jesus, sour baby Jesus, and spicy baby Jesus. Please don't let this happen.
By the way, just as a heads up, ratings are in for Dynamite last night with CM Punk's debut episode.
Yep.
Up 0.48 in the ranking or in the ratings, totaling 1,172,000 viewers. I think it was a little less than 900,000 last week. So yeah, kind of a big fucking deal.
We kind of skirted around it. We didn't really talk about NXT Takeover. Now, I tuned in because, you know, in all the wisdom that is Peacock, they can't figure out how to let you do like how the network did, where, you know, if you join into the broadcast late, that you can actually watch it from the beginning or decide to watch live. Nope, you are stuck with wherever the fuck you end up. And you fucking suck it up and wait till it's over to watch the rebroadcast. So I got into it very late with I think they were on the second Falls match of the Kyle O'Reilly Adam Cole match. So give me a synopsis of like what happened before then, because I saw the last two matches and that was it.
It was Takeover. It was everything you expect to get out of a Takeover. It wasn't the greatest, wasn't the worst. It's kind of middle in the pack.
Yeah, I didn't know who won or anything like that. I'm assuming it pretty much went the way we thought it would go via the picks because of how everything turned out. So
Raquel retained, decent match. Grimes and LA Knight was good. Grimes obviously beat Knight for the title.
Hooray!
Yeah, about time.
Hold on. I gotta get one. Poot, give me one.
What are you asking if we're gonna go to the moon?
Exactly. Thank you. I needed that. All right. Continue.
The standout match, as everybody predicted, was Ilia Draganov versus Walter.
God Almighty, I'm so angry I didn't. I screwed up and didn't put my 5 on that. I'm so angry. I knew it. I knew it was coming. It was time. And Draganov it's classic David and Goliath. They proved the first time on Walter Draganov 1 that they could deliver, and it just I'm so angry I had that mistake. And I can feel Beef's eyebrows peaking right now.
No,
you might feel mine peaking because I don't remember what I put on that match, but that may have been
a two.
That's it.
I messed up just from as we went along through our picks.
Cross was your mistake, and it was a 4-pointer. If anything, if you could have anything back, I think that one thing to have Cross be your 1-pointer and Dragonov be your 4-pointer.
Yep.
But man, What a great!
I screwed up on that cross pick too, obviously, but that's one match I definitely want to go back and watch because I saw the aftermath with the interview with Ilia, and he looked like he just got put through the fucking ringer.
You know
like,
what this
his upper chest looked like just fucking hamburger meat, and I'm like, oh my god, how hard did Walter chop him into next eternity?
You want to know what the scary thing is, Tom? That is what Walter's opponents look like every time.
Oh yeah.
Well, and so conventional thinking says that match should have main evented. I get that, like, that's your like B-side brand.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, the writing was on the wall. The carrying cross was gone. Like, so I didn't enjoy the main event at all. I thought it was okay.
It was boring.
But Samoa Joe.
We saw the muscle buster though.
Yeah, we saw the muscle buster that made me pop. Samoa Joe was fucking like.
Got the text from Beef, muscle buster.
Samoa Joe was like sweating Crisco like 5 minutes in. He needs to get his cardio back. And like I said, to me, it was a foregone conclusion. You know, the rating was on the wall, so I didn't buy that. At the very least, Walter versus Draganov should have started the event, because to have Cole and O'Reilly follow that was a huge mistake, because I was mentally just expended, because I was like, man, what a great fucking match. Oh, and here comes the 2 out of 3 falls match. Well, I really only need to pay attention to the third fall. I don't know, man.
And not only that, but Cole O'Reilly was kind of also a foregone conclusion. We had talked about it.
Right.
It was also very meh. It was very meh.
I like the ending. I really like the ending where it came down to Adam Cole's fucking ego costing him the match and the feud. I thought that was perfect.
Oh yeah. It was very well. The ending of it was very well done, because it really made me stop for a second and go like, O'Reilly's handcuffed. Like, okay, how are they going to work him getting out of these handcuffs to catch Cole? Because all he has to do is just climb the cage. I was thinking that. I was not thinking Cole's gonna go in, get himself ensnared and submitted. And I was like, oh, even better. Like once O'Reilly locked that submission on him, and still handcuffed to the rope, I was like, oh yeah, this got to be it, because they can't go anywhere from here. But
right.
But we talked about that before. That happened at another NXT takeover where it was, oh god, this goes way back to Street Profits, Forgotten Sons, Undisputed Era, and I can't remember if there was one more in there. But it was the tag team ladder match for the NXT tag titles, and that was such a fucking barn burner of a match. And then right after that was the women's match, and we were like, meh. And I think that may have still been whenever Shayna Basler was in NXT, I believe.
Yes. I think that was Shayna Basler versus Bianca Belair, if I'm being honest.
I can't remember that far back exactly who it was. But again, the match we were just kind of like, like it was a good match, but it was just really, it was just unfortunate for them, the booking of that. With I agree, when you're gonna have something that's gonna be that big of a barn burner of a match with highly anticipated with Draganov and Walter, and you've already seen what you got out of them once, and you kind of know what to expect. Yeah, you got to put that at the beginning of the card, and
or at the very least tell them, hey guys, pump the brakes. We have our main events to follow this. And again, no one likes to be. I understand the irony. I understand the irony that we were just talking about shackling people and people being unencumbered and let people work. But at the same time, if you know you got a match in the middle of the card, you have to say to them, hey, look, cool it a little bit, because we have 2 pretty big matches to follow. The only thing that saved that is because the NXT is like the Smart Mark show. Yeah. And again, both, I think, to me,
man,
both of those matches following it were foregone conclusions.
Yeah.
We all knew that Cole was done in NXT one way or the other. most of us knew, despite not picking as such, that Cross was pretty much done on NXT.
Yeah.
He's heading to the main roster. So I don't know, man.
Oh.
I would have pulled the trigger and made it the main event just for something different.
Now, overall, now I don't know if did you get a chance to go back and watch everything else and catch back up, Poot, or did you just catch highlights?
I watched Takeover.
Okay.
And SummerSlam I watched, but I skipped through stuff.
Okay.
Just for time purposes. And I know that's, we very often come in here every week and we just be like, oh, we're a wrestling podcast. We talk about wrestling. It's like, did you watch Raw? Nope. Like,
well,
did you catch it? But then again, it's a reminder to anyone who listens to this podcast, all 7 of us, that we're all pretty busy and like we all have life get in the way. But what I did watch of NXT, I was sports entertained. SummerSlam, I think my problem was I went into it going like, all right, here we go. WWE's gonna fuck it up. Like I can't help it. And you know me, I'm the one that tries to champion power of positivity as it were. But like it's really hard whenever you go in there and you're just like, it feels stale. It feels like a chore. When I watch AEW, it doesn't feel like a chore. When I watch NXT, it doesn't feel like a chore yet.
Right, and I will say, some other foregone conclusions, that happened in SummerSlam, Blueberry Crisp, aka that would be Damian Priest. Again, you could thank Maria for that one.
Blueberry Crisp.
Blueberry Crisp. Yep. Oh. They were off. She doesn't necessarily remember all the names, so she comes up with her own.
Dude, Damian Priest didn't need Windface. His outfit named it for him. Jesus
That's
Christ.
True.
Like,
yeah. But you have to. I'll have to get her over for an event when we're all together again. And some of the best moments of the night from SummerSlam were just the commentary from her. Like, what was it? She believed that Sheamus just looks like somebody who stinks.
Yep.
And she's like, look at the move when he put him in a headlock. She's like, look, she's shoving his head in his stinky armpit. I was like, oh Jesus Christ. I was it wasn't even so much that I was sports entertained. I was commentary entertained here. We had good company and good food and just good laughs. Overall, quick answer. What was the better show of the weekend for you, NXT or SummerSlam, Poot?
Oh, I'm sorry, and this is absolute dumb bias. Literally for no other reason than Draganov versus Walter. For me, it was NXT.
Okay, Beef.
Rampage.
Oh, option C. I like it.
I'll take 20 minutes of an honest to God CM Punk promo over all of SummerSlam. But to answer your question, Takeover, obviously.
Okay, gotcha. What else we really got to touch on here this week? I'm
not trying. I'm sorry to cut you off, Tom. Like honestly, like man, I think we kind of covered it. Like the only 2 things that I want to say, and I don't want to spend a lot of ire time on it because if we do want to try and do a Stump the Champs or Stump the Chumps rather, we could try and get that in. But then again, we don't have our buddy Ransom, which Ransom, we miss you. The things that I want to talk about is like, why Eva Marie? Why? And also, why are we calling her Dewdrop? I know it's been a long-standing thing now. It's not like a brand new thing, but like, just God, it's so dumb. It's so stupid. I like just fucking I hate it. I hate it so much. And like
I'm gonna sum up the answer to that. #reasons. That's why.
Good enough. But like, it just
once again, it's that's a Vince McMahon control thing.
Yep.
What's this? You were one of the greatest and most respected women wrestler on the independent scene. We'll give you a fucking ridiculous name. How's
Yep.
that?
Like, where do you even get Dewdrop from anything she's ever done? Ever?
I don't
Ever.
know.
Like, ever.
I don't know. I
Because
really
she's
don't.
fat. Because she's fat and she enjoys candy.
What is it? Is it?
Vince McMahon logic. That's 100% Vince McMahon logic.
Is Dewdrop a type of candy or something?
It sounds like it. Yeah, man. It sounds like it, doesn't it?
I don't fucking know.
And it's spelled weird, and it's stupid, and it's just so disrespectful.
It really
You
is,
know-
and thank God that Alexa Bliss won that match. I had all the faith in the world in her. So
By
the way, I just want to chime in. That was not me body shaming or anything. I respect the hell out of Piper or Viper, aka Piper Niven, aka fucking Dewdrop. I'm just saying that's probably Vince's thought process.
No,
so.
and it
Yeah.
absolutely is. And Piper Niven, like when she came into NXT UK, when I was really in the thick of watching NXT UK every single week, dude, when she came in, the pop was ridiculous. It was
because she was an honest to God like women's champion that was awesome outside of WWE.
Yeah, and it was a big get. It was a huge get. And now, just like every other thing, just like what's happening with Karrion Kross, just like what's happening with pretty much everyone, is that it's like you just go like, okay, you're gonna ruin this nice thing. This is WWE. This is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't have nice things. And and that's the the fear for anyone who comes up on the main roster, and it shouldn't be. It should be the other way around. We should be going, okay, they're doing well in NXT, but man, can't wait until they get to the main roster, see what they can do. It's just not that way. It's just not.
Yeah.
And it never, and unless there's something drastic that changes, it'll never be. We'll just keep getting more dewdrops and bucket helmets. Like, it's just stupid. Like
Dewdrops and bucket helmets.
Like
God.
a fucking.
I can't wait for that to be the ring name for the next person. Bucket helmet.
Nope, because
fuck it, why not?
There's your episode 101 title, Dewdrops and Bucket Helmets.
I like that. There you go.
Perfect. Well, do you guys want to skip since we don't have the full-fledged P3 crew here? You want to?
Well,
skip?
we won't have. Well, I was gonna say we won't have it next week either. So
That's true.
It's
Beef's
true.
not going to be here. Well, I listen. I say we hold off until the full force. I'm not trying to be a buzzkill to anyone out there who sends in questions. I'm not trying to, to bury the gimmick. I'm not trying to bury the segment. I'm just saying, it's only fair to the chumps. It's only fair to the chumps.
Well, in that case, make sure you guys are refilling the emails out there. Send 2 emails to where beef.
Pittsburgh PileDriverPodcast at gmail.com. 2 emails, one with the question, one with the answer. And the second email with the answer, make sure you write a couple of sentences and put some spaces in so I don't see the answer. Otherwise, you will be disqualified and you will lose and get nothing.
Good day, sir. Yeah. So I mean, I'm with that. That's fine. We can let a few pile up. That's not a big deal. I mean, it's really. We have like one person sending them to us, so if he has an off week and he forgets, we'll be all right. It's no big deal.
Pat.
Yeah, thanks, Pat.
Appreciate
Shout out
you.
to the mid card. Shout out to the mid card maniac, the bastard Pat.
Appreciate you, the bastard. Well, in that case, since we have run since the milk's gone bad on this episode, we might as well just go ahead and wrap it up in a burrito. Thank you all so much for watching the P3 podcast. Make sure you follow our very own Tiger Uppercut Bomb Tom and his page.
Hold on. Breaking news. And
all right.
Okay, no, it's fine.
Now Ransom's not here. It had to happen. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying I don't have an official report or anything, but I'm just now reading that WWE is under the impression that Adam Cole will not return, and posted on Cole's Instagram story yesterday with a picture of him versus Nakamura. So who knows? We'll see. But as I just am reading, it seems like WWE thinks that Adam Cole will not be back.
I'm very confused by that, given the picture that we saw of
him and
Gargano doing some
was
sort
recorded a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Man.
fuckery about. Stay tuned, and we'll figure it all out together. Go ahead, Poop.
Follow our very own Casual Gaming Dad himself, Mr. Tiger Uppercut Bomb Tom, and his page Casual Gaming Dad on Facebook. Watch his streams; they're a lot of fun. Buy his merch at gouldgaming.com. Search on Casual Gaming Dad. Get your very own P3 podcast shirt there as well, along with all of Tom's awesome merchandise. We also want to thank Mr. Sean Tischler and his work with independent wrestling in the central Pennsylvania area, actually all throughout Pennsylvania. So awesome. We need to get out to an indie show here in the upcoming near future there, fellas. Also, we want to go ahead and thank our very own Frigoff Ransom, the madman himself, the Mad King. He will always be as such in my heart. And his YouTube channel, Frig Off Ransom. Ransom, all joking and puffery aside, we hope you feel better, buddy, and we hope that you are doing okay. We love you very, very much. We also would like to thank me, why not, Poot the Bard, Bebe the Barbarian. And we also want to thank our very own encyclopedia, Mr. Beef the Legend. Thank you, Beef. Again, I'm going to offer thank you to Mr. Tiger.
Uppercut.
Bomb Tom for being here as well and all of his fun things. We also want to thank Mr. Ransom yet again. All the thank yous this time, man. Oh, it feels so good to do. We also want to remind you to... What?
Such positivity.
We also... What? We also want to tell you to go and subscribe on YouTube to the Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast YouTube page. Find us anywhere you find really good podcasts. That could be Spotify, that could be iTunes, that could be, or rather Apple Podcasts, I think is what it's called now. I'm not entirely sure. You can also check us out on Anchor. That's anchor.fm. That's where we kind of have the core of it, and then it gets disseminated out into the podcast arena ether from there. So you can check us out on there. And again, like us on Facebook as well. Just search for Pittsburgh Piledriver Podcast. And I want to share some fun things too. It's outside of wrestling, but my band, Hellbent, just hit 2,000 likes on Facebook.
Hey, congrats to Hellbent, man.
Good job.
And thank you very much. We're doing some good stuff. We got a gig this weekend, and then we don't have one for 6 weeks.
Wow.
Oh,
well, you know what that means.
What?
You know that means a weekend trip down here to the new Tiger Den.
So we'll see you down here for all that then.
Dude,
Yep.
Listen, I'm thrilled to have a little bit of a break. I love playing with those guys. We're making really good moves. We're doing good things. It just so happened that this is how we had like this little gap, and I think we all kind of need it. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
Since things opened back up, we've been gigging like crazy. So
yeah, you guys have been busy.
Yeah, we've been super busy.
Yeah.
So that's actually really, 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 really nice to get a little bit of a break and be able to, like, you know, relax, go see things, go see people, and be able to go, oh damn, I have a weekend. What's that like? Thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate you all, and I'm gonna leave you with just the dulcet tones of my whispers. Have a good day, good evening, good night, whenever you're watching this podcast. Boys, you ready? Ransom's not here. Who wants the stinger? No one? No? Okay.
Bueller.
Fail.
You should, honestly, you should.
It wasn't my fail. It was your fail. It was your responsibility to have a stinger. You're both dumb. Bye, everyone.
No, oh, you were still recording?
Wow.
No, I was gonna say you should let it go. You should let it go with that, where you're like the dulcet tones, and like anyone have a stinger, and then just silence, and then that's it. Like, just let it go. I'd say do it like that.
I don't know. This one's pretty good.